All right, where's Williams now? Well, we should have been right now, but about 5 o'clock on Sunday. Becker and I would be preparing a meal for the chaperones up on Sawbill Lake, but here we are sitting in my office thinking about what should have been. There you go for distance learning. And some of you did watch the video that I told you to watch on Friday, 3 minutes and 53 seconds. The beauty about YouTube is I can see exactly how many watched it. 14 of you watched it out of 27, so go back and watch it. I didn't even give you an assignment. I pretty much gave you a day off and asked you for 353, and most of you couldn't even do that. So go watch it. It's the least you could do. It shows your classmates from previous years on the great experience they had, and we're gonna, talk about the trip this week as if we're going next weekend. So, Sawbill Canoe Outfitters is right here. From Eden Prairie, you're looking at about 280 miles. I'm going to slide this back a little bit so we can see it better. Okay, so when you go up to Duluth, Duluth is about 2.5 hours from Eden Prairie, and then you go up to Tofty, which is another hour and 20 minutes, and then you get here and you go up to the end of the road. It's 24 or 25 miles. The road stops. There's the outfitter. The campground is right here, so we'd be camping there. And you can see this orange and black dotted line. That is the border of the Boundary Waters. So part of Sawbill Lake is not in the Boundary Waters. So the example, when I skied in that day, because you couldn't enter into the Boundary Waters, it was closed. I started here, where the landing is, and I skied right to this portage, and that's where I shot that survival video. And then I skied over here, and we did that survival where you had to do a shelter. And then I showed you a picture of the Boundary Water sign, which is right there by that island. But from here to there, it took me 12 minutes. So if you're in a canoe, 10 to 15 minutes, you're at that first portage over to Alton Lake. 30 RDs means 30 rods, so that's where you've got to get out of the canoe and take all your stuff and portage it over if you want to camp over on Alton. And let's all remember, these red dots, those are campsites. So when you plan a trip, you might say, well, I want to stay right here in Alton. Well, you might get over there and it's full. Somebody's there. So you keep moving around until you find your site. If you don't like it, you can cruise on down to Alton on the south end and then take this 146 rod portage over to Beth. See if you like sites over there. You just have to be careful so you don't get caught too late in the day. Remember when Becker couldn't get a site and he ended up camping like right on the base of a portage? You don't want to have to do that. So when we get up there and take these trips, everybody at least goes to the edge of the Boundary Waters to get their photo taken. From here to there, 10 minutes. All right? If you wanted to venture over to Smoke Lake to this portage, this 100-rod portage, which a 100-rod portage takes about 7 to 8 minutes. This little one, again, takes about 2 to 3. But from here to that red dot, about 25 minutes. 8-minute portage puts you at 33. And in about 20 minutes, I can paddle down to my favorite fishing spot, which is right at that red dot on Smoke Lake. Don't tell anybody, but that's pretty good walleye fishing back there. And that picture that some of you saw in the video of previous years where we had the big smallmouth bass. That was Zach that caught those, catch and release those. But the northerns we kept, I think we had 9 northerns like in 30 minutes. We caught those dead center here. And that big walleye I caught was just off the point off that island. So Smoke Lake's generally known for a very good fishing lake. That's generally where I will take kids on the trip. But you're looking at 53 minutes from here to there. Other kids, they might venture all the way down to the end of Sawbill. And to get down to the end of Sawbill, I'll flip that up a little bit, is about 2.5 hours to get all the way down there. So here, we'll tilt that back right there. So to get right down into, I've camped back in here. I've camped at that site over there. You're looking at about 2.5 hours from down here and all the way back in there. A lot of kids will do the Kelso Loop. The Kelso Loop is here. Go up the Kelso River, and you come back down through Alton, take the portage back. You're looking at 4 to 6 hours there. And then the Beth Lake Loop is Sawbill, 30-rod portage, go over to this side of the Alton, venture down, go over to take the portage, and then do some great rock jumping right there. There's like a 20-foot ledge, life jackets on, shoes on, sandals on. Shoes work best. And then you jump in, it's about 30 feet of water, and then you swim back over here. We've done that before with some kids, and that's just super, super fun. And that trip from here all the way over, depending upon the wind can get pretty fierce on Alton sometimes. You're looking at about 2 hours to get to that portage. So all the trips are pretty, simple, meaning half-day trips. And generally, those are the trips we offer. I mean, you can see over here that you've got Flame Lake, you've got Burnt Lake. We did that the first couple of years. We did some fishing over in here, but most of the time now it's just been Smoke to Sawbill to the Kelso Loop over to Beth Lake. And then remember, when we go in, there's permits down there. You need a day permit when you go in, and remember the restrictions: 9 people, 4 watercraft, which means 4 canoes. You cannot have groups larger than that. But a day permit, you just fill out, you carry that in, and all that is, if you were stopped by a ranger, you'd show them the permit, you're there for the day. If you're going overnight, you actually have to make a reservation. In overnight, you go in at a certain point, like entry point 38 is right here, and you have to enter at that entry point. And then you have a reservation to go in on that day. There's a quota, meaning only so many people can go in from each site. Some entry points have larger quota numbers, some are rather small. So you make a reservation through recreation.gov. You can also go through an outfitter, but please understand that you do need reservations and permits to get into the Boundary Waters. The difference is when we go, we just fill out day permits. There's no charge, you just go in for the day, and then you're coming out. All right, so that's just a little bit about map reading. I'm going to ask you some questions off of this in distances. But again, when you go on a trip, you should always carry a map and be familiar with the lengths of the portages. The lakes. Are the lakes big? Are they small? Which way do the winds generally prevail? And just have an idea what you're getting yourselves into. Preparation is what it's all about. So I'm going to post some questions. That's just a little bit about the Sawbill Lake area and surrounding lakes. I'm out.